Hey guys, what is up? It's Phoenix here again, and today I'm just going to do a short guide on healing as a consular because they are extremely difficult to actually heal if you've never played a healer before, and if you have played a healer before, it's still really difficult. So let's get to it. So let's start off with companions because companions are really important, especially when you're doing perhaps group quests, or even if you're doing 4-man dungeons or flashpoints and you don't have 4 people, you just have you and a friend and 2 companions, which is what me and my brother are doing at the minute. So I actually have my tank out, and I normally have him out, but you do actually get 2 healers, which is quite good in a way. I think they're supposed to help you heal. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll summon one of them. Now they're both the same. This one shoots, the other one does melee attacks, but they both heal. So if I click myself and tell him to heal me, that's one of his heals. So let's extend his bar. He's got this heal, which is just a heal over time, and then this heal, which is like I guess it's more of a trooper heal. Because that's how they heal, with like a gun, and then it's like a beam. So the heals are not fantastic, but they help. So if you're in a dungeon and it's kind of difficult for you to heal, try get a companion out if the other guy is capable of tanking. It will help you increase your healing. Now if you cannot get your other guy out and you've got a tank out, for instance, like I normally do, then focusing on your healing abilities is going to be key. Now when it comes to healing, there's one key ability that you need to get. Well, actually there's 2, and they are at level 20 to 22, I believe. Now as you see, I've got 2 points in mental longevity, which basically increases my total force by 100. Now that's not one of the needed ones, but I do suggest that you do get it because it does help out in healing a lot. An extra 100 force is really fantastic. Now the 2 abilities I want to talk about is rejuvenate and conveyance. Now the reason you need these 2 is because rejuvenate is kind of like it's hard to explain. It's an ability that you need to use to proc other abilities. Now by that I mean, if I use rejuvenate on myself, which is my number 4 key, I will basically get a buff here, conveyance. Now it increases the effectiveness of my next ability. Now rejuvenate being a heal over time, and it's an instant cast with it's not a big heal, but it is somewhat of a heal. So if I heal myself, 247 heal, it's not too bad, and it does a heal over time, which is pretty good. But the effectiveness of this heal is really good. Now I'll tell you why. Because here, force shelter, that also increases your this target's maximum armor by 10%, which is pretty decent. Now that can all be applied with rejuvenate. Now conveyance can only be procced with rejuvenate. So as you can see, these skills here are all based around rejuvenate. Now conveyance is kind of bugged at the minute. It says it affects your next active heal, but if you're quick enough, it actually affects your next 2 heals. Now I will show you. Now if I use rejuvenate and then deliverance, it's supposed to reduce my cast time by 1 second. As you can see here, deliverance activation time reduced by 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to use number 4, and then I'm going to use number 3. Sorry. And then I'm going to use number 3 straight after. I actually get 2 heals out of that rather than just 1. So that is actually really helpful. Now I'm not sure if this is going to be patched, but I hope not, because it's ideal to have this heal, because when you're facing level 25 elites and there's 4 elites in a pack, and it's really difficult to actually keep your companion up, and the targeting system for companions is horrible. Now my brother has a robot, and when he's tanking the mobs, it's very difficult to click on the companion. I always end up clicking on the mob. Even if I click the nameplate, You see, I've got to be very precise, and it still doesn't do it. You've actually got to click the companion, which is really annoying. And because the robot is so big, it's difficult to click it. You'd think being a big robot, I could click it easily. But no, the mobs actually penetrate into the character's skin. And you can't click them. Because every time you try to click them, you actually click the enemy instead. So I've got to run in, I've got to force leap the enemies away to actually click the target. Now I have been trying to set up focus target, but I can't focus a target. Even if I do focus, it doesn't work. Even if I go into my key bindings and set up, let's see, where is it? It's a self target, focus target modifier. So I've got it as my middle mouse button, but it doesn't work. Even if I press the end key, nothing works. Even my middle mouse button, nothing works. It just doesn't work. Yeah. So that's something I've got to work on. If you could focus target a companion, it would be a lot easier to heal. The only reason my companion is easy to heal is because I've got a big nameplate down here that I can click. So, Benevolence is a really crappy heal. Now people say, oh, you use this in emergencies, but the cost and the amount it heals isn't that great. It's horrible, in fact. It's not worth it. So don't ever use this once you get Deliverance. You always want to use Deliverance. You want to time it so you heal the person who's taking damage. And you want to keep them above 50% HP all time. Now, Force Armor is quite good, but it does cost a lot of Force. But in your talents, you can actually get improved Force Armor, which is the ability I'll be getting next. And it does reduce it quite significantly. And it does reduce the cooldown, so you can pop it on multiple targets, such as a priest bubble from World of Warcraft. It's definitely useful. Now, you do get Noble Sacrifice, which is here in talents. It's basically to improve it. Valiance, which reduces the maximum health spent by 2%. Now, 2% isn't a lot. Now, Noble Sacrifice steals some of your HP and puts it into Force, but it also decreases the regeneration rate. So it's best not to use this more than once. Use it once to get Force back and leave it. Don't ever go past one, because the health you spend to the Force you actually get back isn't good. So it's only there for emergencies really, and if there's no AoE damage, because if you keep using this and you get low, some random AoE damage could just kill you and then it'd be a wipe. Now, Force Potency is a very good heal. Now, I do suggest using this in conjunction with your Deliverance and your Rejuvenation. So if I use that, I take my companion, I use my number 4, and I use my Deliverance twice, I get some really big heals. So that's just over 2k, quite nice heals. So that in under, what, 2 seconds is really good, to be honest. Now, you get Restoration at these higher levels. Now, Restoration basically removes mind effects or force effects, such as these effects here: Weaken Mind, Mind Crush. It will basically negate them for you. It's up to 2. Cleanse friends, yeah, up to 2 negative mental or force effects. So, again, they don't really put any of these on mobs that I've been fighting this far. But in the future, I'm sure I'll be using that quite a lot. Now, for other talents, I mean, there's nothing really significant for healing. The talents that I've just talked about there are them. That's it. Now, there's one ability over here, Channel of the Force. Now, this is a 20-minute cooldown, and it summons the Force to aid you and your companion, immediately finishing the cooldown of your Force Stun and restoring 2% of your maximum health every 3 seconds. It requires an active companion, lasts 1 minute. So your Force Stun is this. Now this is pretty good. I do suggest you actually use this whenever it's off cooldown when you're fighting an elite. The less time the elite has to actually damage your companion or your party members, the better. So using Force Knockback, you know, you can use this and then heal your companion, because when your companion is taking a lot of HP, you will always want to use Rejuvenate. Every time it's off cooldown, use it. The reason for that is because you get 2 fast deliverances. and if your companion's taking a lot of damage, he's going to need them heals. And when you are fighting elites that aren't CC'd, you find 3 or 4 of them at a time, your companion will go down really fast. Now, the other thing I suggest you do when you actually fighting elites, make sure your tank or your companion has aggro on them all. Because if you're taking damage, it is really bad. If you are taking a lot of damage and you can't help it, you might want to pick up this talent, Pain Barrier. Basically increases your self healing by 8%, which is ideal if you're taking a lot of damage, because even if it's just damage every, randomly, if you put a rejuvenate on yourself, 8% added to that is quite a lot. So it will actually get you back up to full HP. You can use it on yourself and then use the buff to actually heal your friendly target. So, use it as your leisure, and, just good luck in healing. Now, I will be making another kind of guide at level 30 once I get my healing trance, and I've got a few other abilities such as Serenity, which increases my crit chance, etc. So we'll make another short video then, and then I'll make a full guide, a proper guide, an in-depth guide on healing once I get to level 50, and then it'll be like a full healing guide on how to heal, rotations and all that kind of stuff. But in this video, I just wanted to make a video and show you guys what you should be using at this type of level. So guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time. Peace.